Assalamu alaikum 11th graders. How are you? Hope sound and safe. This is Mrs. Ghadira Atli from Al-Mahdi High School, Al-Hadath, and today's lesson is about the types of introduction used by writers in a reading selection or research paper. The objectives of our lesson are: identify the common methods of introduction writers use to introduce their subjects to the readers, and infer different functions of introductory paragraphs. Please prepare your English copybook, a paper, a pen, and sit in a quiet room. First of all, what's the role of the introduction? The introduction is the start of your essay and introduces the topic. It grabs the reader's attention. It leads the reader from a general subject area to a particular topic, and it summarizes current understanding and background information about the topic. Dear students, writers use different types of introduction for different purposes, and the type is the way the writer uses to introduce the topic. Also, we have many types, and each one is distinguished in certain means. Now, read the following introductory paragraphs and try to infer the type of each. Pause the video to guess the answers. Look at the first example. Can you imagine how much a single day can cost if you live in Tokyo? For instance, a simple outing to the movies would cost the couple $56, while the same pair of movie tickets would cost just $26 in other overpriced cities. What did the writer start by? Good job, he started by a question. Did you feel eager to know the answer for this question? So what's the type? That's correct, using a question or a series of questions. Look at the second example. Early man's reasons for measuring time were different from those of modern man. To the hunter and the primitive farmer, the year was simply seen as a cycle of events, a time to reap and sow, or a time when a game might profitably be caught. The day was simply the period between sunrise and sunset. And since the seasons of the year were marked by a series of natural events, there was no need to count the days. Today, many primitive societies still function efficiently without any form of calendar or clock. Look at the first sentence. What's the idea the writer is talking about? Did he discuss it in a broad or a specific way? That's true, he started in general. Did he add details? How did he end the introduction? That's true, he ended the introduction in a specific way. Can you guess the type? That's correct, it's general to specific. Now, look at the third example. In the past 2 decades, average annual temperatures have climbed as much as 4 degrees Celsius in Alaska, Siberia, and parts of Canada. Sea ice is 40% thinner and covers 6% less area than in 1980. What's something significant about this introduction? Yes, it's the numbers. What did the writer start the introduction by? Did you find it interesting or surprising? That's correct. Using facts or statistical data makes the reader attracted to the topic. What's the type of introduction? Correct answer, surprising fact or statistics. Look at the fourth example. It seems curious that Charles Babbage is remembered today as the grandfather of computing, although his work was largely forgotten after his death in 1871. It was only with the construction of the first electronic computers in 1940s that Babbage's work became apparent. Had Babbage never lived, in other words, the rise of the computer would have happened anyway. That's because today's computers owe their ancestry not to Babbage, but to the work of Herman Hollerith, another 19th century pioneer. All in all, no one can ignore the positive effects of such invention on our everyday activities. Who's the famous person the writer is talking about in his introduction? Is he a historical figure? Yes, it's Charles Babbage, the grandfather of computing. What moments of his life attracted you the most? Did you learn anything new about him? What's the type of introduction used here? That's correct. Historical background review. Now, have a look at the fifth example. When compared with the old days, a lot of changes have taken place. When I was required to sign various papers and documents, I could only use the thumbprint and I never knew what exactly I was signing. Now that I am literate, no one can ask me to sign it just blindly. Look at this example. What did the writer start by? Yes, a personal story, that's correct. Do you feel eager to know more about the writer's experience? What's the type then? Correct answer, it's an anecdote. Now, look at example number 6. My teacher always says, you can't always judge a book by its cover. Just like people, it's illogical to judge them by how they appear. Judging someone does not define who they are, it defines who you are. What did the writer start by? Yes, it's a saying of his teacher. Did the writer grab your attention here? Did he add some fun to the introduction? So, what's the type used here? Correct answer, the type is starting by a quotation. So, dear students, when the writer starts by intriguing questions that readers would want to know the answer to, then the type is question or series of questions. When the writer moves from a broad observation about a topic to specific details, then the type is general to specific. When the writer starts by facts or statistics, numbers, about a topic, then the type is surprising fact or statistics. When the writer starts by historical background about a certain topic, then the type is historical background review. When the writer starts by a personal story or supply an event involving someone, then the type is an anecdote. When a writer starts by a famous saying or quotation of someone, then the type is quotation. Now, what's the function of each type or method of introduction? Dear students, it's important to know that each type of introduction has a specific aim or function, where the writer wants the readers to reach a certain conclusion. Look again at example number 1. Why did the writer ask us about the cost of a single day in Tokyo? Was it an intriguing question? What was its purpose? So the function is, the purpose of the writer is to shed light on how much expensive Tokyo is by comparing the cost of a movie outing in Tokyo to another overpriced country. Look again at example number 2. What's the general topic the writer is discussing here? What's the specific topic? What does the writer want to tell us? The writer started the introduction by giving the reader general information about natural ways used by old nations to count days and months. Then he narrowed the topic to specify that some nations still use the same old ways of the past today. Look again at example number 3. Why do you think the writer used numbers here? Why did he use facts? What does he want to show us? In this example, the writer uses numbers such as 4 degrees Celsius, 40%, 6% to show us that we are facing a climatic problem. The writer uses facts to show us that this problem is serious and the temperature has increased and water levels are decreasing due to high temperature. Facts, such as numbers, add emphasis to the topic and arouse the reader's interest in the topic too. Look again at example number 4. Why did the writer give us some background information about Babbage? What's the topic the writer wants to shed light on? That's true, the invention of computers. In this example, the writer introduced the topic by giving some background information about Charles Babbage, to give information or ideas for the reader about moments of his life, and to help the reader understand the topic electronic inventions better. Look again at example number 5. After reading this anecdote, can you tell that the writer is successful today? How can you tell? Did you learn anything? What's the writer's purpose? Or what's the function of this introduction? In this example, the writer started by a brief story or incident from his life to show the reader how hard it had been when he was illiterate. The writer wants to show the readers the importance of reading and writing. Today, nobody can betray him. Look again at example number 6. What did the writer start by the teacher saying? Does the writer want to teach us something here? What's the function of such an introduction? In this example, the writer started by his teacher saying to grab our attention and to show us that we can't judge people by their appearance, and we can infer that it is the inner appearance and personality that matter. Now, it's time for application. What type of introduction does the writer use in the following paragraphs? What purpose or purposes does it serve? Pause the video and prepare your answers. Let's check our answers. Finally, dear students, don't forget that a writer can use one method or a combination of methods to introduce the topic and ease the reader into the topic of the article or selection, and each method used has a different purpose too. I hope that you've enjoyed the lesson. Thank you for listening. The end.